Are we
There.
live? Are we live?
There we go. We're here.
Are
We're
we
back.
live?
Are we live? Are we live? Is this thing going?
We gotta tell VK about that joke once we
Oh
get in
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah. We will.
I don't know
We
if you
will.
know it, but we're back and we got
We're
our
back.
first guest of the season, folks. West Coast Draft Pod with esteemed journalist, future Pulitzer Prize winner Ethan Kilbreath. Thanks for joining us on the show today.
Thank you. I don't know about all that, but thank you for the intro, Rob. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
We got the usual
Had to have you
questions.
on for the NFC East episode or the NFC Least episode, as I like to call it.
Yeah, pretty accurate tagline, and always happy to talk about the Giants and their respective spot in the division this upcoming year.
And
See how it
for
turns
those who
out.
don't know, I don't know if you ever saw that JSN interview with Chicago, with some Chicago reporters at like the draft this last year. They were asking him about Shane Waldron, and he looked in the camera, paused for like 30 seconds. It's like, is this live? And he couldn't be bothered to say something nice about Shane Waldron. Now, we got a Bears hater in here, and that's our great Lions fan, but by proxy, it's me this year because I am bitter.
Just because
at
you're a
Red Zone
Waldron hater.
So you're not really a Bears hater. You're just a Waldron hater.
By proxy.
All right.
By the stuff I've been getting into them on Twitter with, I have joined you there, Daniel.
But they've got Rome now, Rob. You can't completely.
That's
Oh
true.
shit!
That's
You're
true.
right. You're right. That's true. Him. He was tearing it up the other day on Hard Knocks, singing Chris Brown.
Oh yeah, he was Kiss Kiss by Chris Brown. That was pretty great.
good.
Oh,
was
Hard
pretty
Knocks is
great.
out now for the Bears.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I'll check it out.
Are out. But and Keenan Allen's up to 230 pounds. That has to be fake, right?
No way.
That
There's
can't
no
be
way.
real.
There's no way.
That makes me think of that like fat Tony Romo picture. But let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Yeah, we got a little bit of a late start,
I want to hear some
which is all right.
storylines.
But yeah, I'll give
you've been
EK
hearing
the
out of
floor.
camp, what you're hearing out of camp, what you're excited for, not excited for. What's the feel for the Giants right now?
Sure. So, short answer, not good. That would be the quick answer. But I do think that there is a little bit of reason for hope for the Giants, but also long term, maybe not. And the reason why I say that is because I do think the Giants are a better football team than the one that we saw last year, which was just an abysmally bad offense. Quarterbacks getting sacked 6 times, 7 times a game. I forget what it was, but in the first game of the season against the Cowboys, there was a whole list of things of like a shutout loss, a pick 6, a blocked field goal touchdown, losing the turnover margin by 3, losing the sack margin by a certain amount, and no team had ever done that in a single season. And the Giants did it all in the first game. So
That's pretty impressive. In a way, that's impressive. Record setting.
Yeah.
Didn't take any time to do that.
right, it literally couldn't get any worse after that first game. But I do think that the Giants are a better team than that.
Mhm.
Whatever your thoughts are on Daniel Jones, he's better than Tommy DeVito. He's better than Tyrod Taylor and the replacements that the Giants had. The O-line was very, very injured last year, and so they added a couple offensive linemen, and they added a couple good players in the defense too. Brian Burns, he's got named one of the top 100 players in the NFL.
We're big Brian Burns heads in this.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that
For a
one
2.
yesterday.
For a 2.
There you go. Glad to hear it. You know, you got Jalen Mills, who is certainly not in his heyday, but he's a good addition to the secondary. So I think the Giants will be a better football team, certainly in 2024 than they were in 2023. Now, the issue is that I don't think that 2022, when they went on a playoff run and beat the Vikings in the first round of the playoffs, I don't think that was exactly an indication of what they'll look like in 24 either. So I think the Giants are caught in a dilemma now where they're going to be a very mediocre team. And I think Daniel Jones is a good enough quarterback to get a contract extension, but he's not a good enough quarterback to win Super Bowls. So in a way, I think that the Giants are in an almost tougher position there. If they were really, really bad, they would be able to have drafted Caleb Williams last year or Carson Beck this upcoming year, who I think will be franchise quarterbacks. But I think they'll be okay. They'll be an 8-win, 9-win team, and it's not going to be enough to win the division. Certainly the Cowboys or the Eagles. I would bet the ranch that one of those two teams win the division. And so the Giants are I fear caught in this sort of purgatory.
Well said, well said. Well, you forgot to talk about probably the most eye-catching addition who's been, exploding on highlight reels of training camp is Malik Neighbors.
Right.
He,
Well,
as much hate as I was being a bit of a hater on him because, Rome. I was doing the Rome propaganda. But, I mean, he's really looked good on from videos that people have putting out.
right. That is, and you don't want to read into training camp too much because they're never going to say anything really bad about a player during training camp, which they shouldn't. And Neighbors, it does sound like has been great during training camp, but until we see him in a game, that's all that is. But I will say this, the excuses are out for Daniel Jones this year. They're gone. I know that the O-line is still not the 2015 Cowboys or whatever an example of a really good offensive line is. But at a certain point, the excuses kind of start to run out. And they went to the draft. They didn't get a quarterback, even though they could have. They got a receiver. In our opinion, probably, Rob, we thought Rome Odunze was the better receiver there. But Neighbors obviously is a fantastic pick as well. And so Darius Slayton is solid at wide receiver. I think Jalen Hyatt could be poised for a big year. You have, Saquon obviously is gone. That's the elephant in the room. But Devin Singletary is about as solid of an addition as you could have there at running back to fill those shoes. So really, there's some decent weapons on this Giants team, and it really does boil down to Daniel Jones because at a certain point, especially in that New York media, no one wants to hear Daniel Jones threw 125 yards and the Giants lost by 3 touchdowns, but it's okay. It's not his fault because the O-line was bad. That may be true, but at a certain point, that just doesn't hold up anymore. And so this is, I think, especially financially with the way that the contract is structured, a make or break year for Mr. Jones.
I also do think an underrated storyline is, some change at DC. Because Wink Martindale basically kind of mutinied at the end of the season. Was just kind of said a big fuck you to Dable. Just did not get along with him. And I don't remember who their new DC is, but
it's the Titans former one.
He was solid.
Shane Bowen.
Yeah, he shaved his Abraham Lincoln beard. I remember I was talking about that with Daniel. But Cody Alexander, one of the biggest scheme guys on defense on Twitter, who has been liking some of my tweets lately, I'll plug that, described Wink Martindale as running the Face Melter 5000 on spam. And it can only do so much there. I think having a bit more of just send the house almost every play mentality on defense is really going to help them. And then the biggest elephant in the room, or maybe changed elephant in the room, Brian Daboll lost 100 pounds. Let's see how that works for him. No more big boy coaches.
Yeah, good for him. Back to the days of Tom Coughlin, he was a thin guy and he did pretty well. So
yeah, that's true.
Speaking of the elephant in the room with the loss of Saquon, what are your thoughts on the controversy there?
You mean with the Hard Knocks?
The tampering stuff, or not even that, just the tampering stuff, and then the back and forth with Giants fans on Twitter. Like, where's your temperature at with that?
Yeah, I'm pretty neutral on most of that stuff, but I will say if there's one team it would suck for Saquon to go to, it's got to be the Eagles. I mean, even I think I would rather have him on the Cowboys than the Eagles. The Giants, for those that don't know, the Giants have got their absolute ass kicked by the Eagles really since, even when the Giants were good, since like 2008. I think the Giants are 8-24 against the Eagles. I could be wrong off the top of my head. It's not good though against the Eagles. And obviously there's I'm not from New York, but there's the Philadelphia-New York rivalry there is big. And so the Eagles, I mean, he really might have been the last piece of the puzzle in Philadelphia for them to not only continue dominating the Giants, they've beat them at Lincoln Financial now 10 years in a row, I believe, but also to make a deep playoff run. And there's nothing that's going to sting more for the Giants than seeing if Saquon holds the Lombardi Trophy out over his head in a midnight green uniform this February. So
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think any team is going to do offseason hard knocks again with how rough it made the Giants look. It's always
Sure.
going to make management look bad in offseason hard knocks, That's just how storylines are going to work. But it's like, geez, they did the Giants pretty dirty in the offseason hard knocks. I don't know.
yeah, they've been bad enough on the field. They don't need any of that off the field kind of distractions too. So
Well, thank you for this really
There
good
you
deep
go.
dive, really informative. Some stuff into the Giants. Shall we jump right into our
Do you want to hop right in with the Giants for the first set of game by game picks? Got the roster up. We got the schedule up. Do we have
Good
any
call. I was
game? Oh,
very
we already got
astute.
4
Yes.
games in here because they play the NFC South. So you know, EK, starting point for your guys. We got them beating the Panthers, losing
take
to the
that.
Bucks, losing to the Saints, and losing to the Falcons. So starting with 1 and 3 from the jump. How are you feeling about those 4?
I would say that's probably fair. Is there a rhyme or reason for those 4 games in particular?
Brian Burns' revenge game was one of the
That was
major
a big-
factors for the Giants one, or sorry, the Panthers one. The Saints one, we had a little bit of a back and forth with this one, I believe.
Yeah, that was a tight one. I think I said Giants.
I can't remember. I think that was one of the winnable games on the Saints schedule, so we gave it
that
to
was a
them.
coin flip for me.
That was a coin flip one. And Bucks and Falcons, I think all three
We're
of us just
high
thought
on the
they were better
Falcons
football
right now,
teams. And we were
especially
very
trading
high
for
on the
Tebow.
Falcons. And they got Justin Simmons today, too.
Oh, geez, they're gonna
Yeah,
be
right.
good this year, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I mean, I maybe would have gone the different way on the Saints game. However, if I were picking the Saints schedule, I probably would pick them to beat the Giants. So I understand where you're coming from.
So there you go. There's our starting point there. We'll do that with the other teams too. But as far as the roster here goes, starting with the offense, they got Tyrone Tracy listed. Oh, that can't be right. Is he starting over Singletary? There's no way.
Not to my knowledge, he shouldn't be.
Oh, here we go. Oh, wait, never mind. I went to 12 personnel and all of a sudden, oh, you know what? Here we go. 12 personnel. All of a sudden, Singletary's listed as a starter. So.
Interesting.
Neighbors, let's
That's not a
Wandale
bad
Robinson.
line. That's not a bad line.
Mitchell Schmitz was rough last year.
I was
the worst center in the league according to PFF here.
I think
he was a rookie. He's a rookie.
I think he was better than the ratings show, but he did have a rough rookie year though. I don't lie. I thought he was plug and play good player, but it was a little rough. However, how much can you blame that on just the tumultuous nature of their offense last year? That D line, that front seven, I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part of the team for sure. I mean, Thibodeau, he's a duck, but he's a very good football player.
Sexy Dexy.
The ratings don't love him apparently on here.
No,
that's gonna be a fun D line, man.
Dexter Lawrence, awesome. We obviously love Sexy Dexy. How can you not?
Yeah. I've always liked Isaiah Simmons.
Isaiah Simmons brought him back.
The Clemson man.
We'll see. They lost obviously McKinney in the secondary too. We didn't even really touch on that. That's also a big loss there. But that front seven's going to be fun. That front seven's going to be able to make plays. Got one of my guys in the draft, Drew Phillips, lining up at slot corner right now too. Mm-hmm. That's good to see. Deontay Banks.
Because I mean, I can always blank on his name, but DC's a good GD coach. They coach DBs well.
So there you go. There's a little roster check there. Let's see.
Well, and you may not have seen, on that depth chart, but Drew Lock is a new addition as well.
That's right.
Oh, of course. You can't forget BCL.
So Daniel and I did watch the first half of that Giants-Lions preseason game. That was a rough one, man. That was a rough watch on both sides, and Drew locked it up.
Didn't Drew Lock get injured in that game?
I
He
think he got
did.
like dinged up. I don't know if it's serious.
Hmm. And we had to go to the bench for a little bit. Yeah, that was a terrible game.
Daniel was screaming for Hendon Hooker the whole game because Nate Sudfeld.
And
was
how can
sick.
you not?
Dude,
Because
Nate.
you have to watch Nate Sudfeld.
Oh,
It was bad.
No Lions fan wants to watch Nate Bell take another snap ever again.
All right, let's jump into it.
Let's hop into the games, and you guys play the AFC North, so I'll give my takes on some Hood Division games too, as I like to call it.
That is a tough schedule. Jeez.
It's
rough.
yeah, I believe the 6th hardest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a really
I can see. I mean, you play the entire AFC North, and then the let's see,
and you play the
And-
AFC East twice. And there's
AFC or NFC East twice,
Or,
but
yeah.
yeah. Who's
Damn the
the
NFC.
other division? Oh, NFC South. You get a little bit of a break with the NFC South games, but that's about it, honestly. The rest of the schedule's tough. So talking Giants here. We'll give you the floor to start with each of these games, obviously. So week 1, hosting the Vikings. Talked already a little bit about that game back from 22 playoff run one game. But how you envision the season starting here for New York, EK?
I think it lines up to get 2 wins in the first 3 games. I'm not sure exactly where those 2 wins are going to come from, but I think they can get the win home against the Vikings. I think the Vikings, and you guys and Daniel would definitely know more than me, but I think the Vikings are probably the least likely team in the NFC North to be good. Maybe is that
I'd
fair
agree
to
with
say?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would
after
too.
losing JJ, yeah, absolutely.
So, I think the Vikings is a very winnable game. And then you go to Washington, where they have a rookie quarterback, obviously. And I think, the best D-line in football can pressure a rookie quarterback and get to his head a little bit. I think the Giants can get that win too and start 2-0. I don't envision them getting back-to-back wins on the road. So I would say they drop the game to Cleveland. Somewhat a winnable game, but I would say they drop it and go 2-1 into a Thursday night against the Cowboys.
Yeah, a lot of this one comes down to how Sean's looking, and their reviews out of training camp have not been pretty. So, and you know what? I love to hear that, but we won't get into that too much. Rob, what about? I like how EK broke that up though. First 3 games kind of take in chunks.
I completely agree with that. I think you're going up against a guy who just became the starter, isn't going to have all of that preparation of the whole offseason like most quarterbacks have. Going on an away game against a good D line, he's gonna be seeing ghosts. Darnold's gonna be seeing ghosts. So I completely agree with EK's first 3 picks.
There you go, Daniel. Bring it home. Bring it home on the Vikings here.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I agree with EK's pick over the commies. I think the Giants win that game. I think that D line can make it hard for Jaden Daniels. I agree with the Browns just barely beating the Giants as well. I think the Browns defense is really good, and maybe the Giants offense can't match up too well with it. Now, the Vikings game, you guys are going to learn something about the Vikings. No matter how bad they look on paper, they will always finesse at least a 6-win season. They are never as bad as even their fans want them to be because their owners are very anti-tank. So I'm taking the Vikings in week 1 because that game, I have such a gut feeling Minnesota's going to pull some bullshit and their fans are going to be super hype after that game. And here's the thing, too, is like I think Giants fans, maybe you can correct me on this, EK. I feel like whether you win or lose that game, y'all will probably feel the same about the season as a whole. But Vikings fans, bro, if they win that game, they're going to be like, oh my God, Sam Darnold looks so good. Oh my God, the D line was amazing. On route to a 6 or 7 win season, like they do every single season that they're bad.
You can tell Danielle's feelings about the Vikings, which is fair. Hey, it's a division rival. Honestly, I get it. I don't agree with you guys. And actually in the opposite direction that I think the Vikings will probably go into this game favored, and week 1 is weird. So I'm actually going to go with the Giants win this one. It's a home game against, again, a team I don't think we think is that great. I think it's winnable. Definitely winnable for the Giants there.
Speaking of fans, though, EK, did you see that video of that Colts fan making that song?
Sorry, say that again.
Have you seen that video of that Colts fan making a song
No, I have not.
Oh
Oh my
gosh.
god.
You know what? Watch it
Pull it
after.
up,
It's like
pull it up, pull it up
27
now. Pull it
seconds.
up
The
now.
audio won't work though.
Yeah, just send me the link. Send me the link.
Yeah, I'll yeah, just 27 seconds of just you're gonna feel bad for the guy by the end. I'll just say
It's
that.
like I don't know what made that guy like if you watch the video back, it's like, yep, I'm gonna post this.
I'm looking forward to it.
This next 5 game stretch is about as tough of a stretch as you'll see on a schedule this fall though. I won't lie.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. And now I'm starting to wish that I had made them go 3-0 in the first three just to even it out a little bit. But I do think they'll lose to the Cowboys on Thursday night. It pains me to say, but I think the Cowboys are going to be really good this year. The NFC East hasn't had a repeat champion since 2004, which is
Mhm.
absolutely insane. But I think this could be the year that we see the Cowboys go for the repeat. I would probably pick them over the Eagles. It's going to be close, but either way, they're going to beat the Giants. So I would pick the Cowboys in that game. I think the Seahawks are going to be a little bit better than people think this year, and that's a discussion for another day, obviously. But going into Seattle is always just going to be brutal.
You gotta
So
go
I,
to that
I
game,
would
man.
pick the Seahawks there. And then Beau, I would pick your Bengals as well to beat the Giants, especially with a healthy Joe Burrow. I think the Bengals are a team to watch out for. So I think that's the stretch of the season where, and I'll even give you another one. I'll say that the Eagles beat the Giants at home too. So I think that's where you have a 4 game slide for the Giants. You really start to have the Boo Birds coming out during all the games and people calling for the firing of Joe
Yeah.
Shane. And I think that's when it's going to get pretty ugly in New York. And you might even see Daniel Jones get thrown on the bench and Drew Lock at some point during that
Oof.
stretch. So I think
Yeah.
that's where it might get kind of ugly.
Yeah. Especially
How
with three
how
of four
hot
of these being at home and 2 of 4 being in prime time too.
how
A lot of
hot do you think Dable
national
sees?
eyes gonna be on it.
Right.
It might be tough.
Right. And Daniel Jones is 1-11 in prime time, by the way,
Oof.
in his career.
Oh, I did not know
So he's
that.
new Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Well, Kirk
Jeez.
Cousins, that's an insult to Kirk Cousins, I think. But
Oof. Yeah.
How hot do you think Dable sees?
I think I don't know if any head coach can withstand more than 2 really bad years in New York, especially if the infrastructure isn't there to win going into next year. I think it's one thing if a head coach is kind of coming up with an up and coming quarterback and they're both kind of growing together, but that doesn't seem to be Daniel Jones' trajectory. And so henceforth, I don't think that's Brian Dable's trajectory either, which is insane to say after he was the hottest coach, in the NFL in 2022 when he took the Giants to the playoffs. But sadly, I just think that if there's another tough season this year and it doesn't appear to be getting any brighter for the Giants, that both the GM and the head coach and really everyone is on the hot seat.
I made this comparison last year when it was getting rough for the Giants, and I think if it's another rough year, I think it could really be true. But I was calling Dable kind of a Matt Nagy kind of guy because his first year had a really good year, went to the playoffs, but he was really holding together an offense that didn't have that much talent on it, but he was coaching it really well. And then it just, smoke and mirrors can only do so much.
Right,
So we'll
right.
see what
And
happens there.
hopefully Daniel Jones isn't Mitch Trubisky. But
He's
it's
better than Mitch Trubisky, I'll tell you
He's better
that.
than Trubisky.
yeah.
Are you gonna go to
Dude,
that Seahawks Giants game?
yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I believe
You
I'm
should.
going to that. So
there you go. Daniel, Rob, any disagreements on this 4 game stretch here? Because I think I'm lockstep with EK as far as the picks go.
Yeah, me too. For these 4 games.
That's just a brutal stretch.
Yeah.
Like I know Seahawks, I'm high on them, but they're probably middle of the road, if not a bit above the middle of the road. And having to fly to Seattle, it became tough.
Yeah, if there's ever a game in this stretch you want to be at home, it's probably that Seahawks one. And
right.
tough draw. Tough draw. Moving ahead here into now pretty much deadlock in midseason. Got a road game against Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football, and then you got your home game against the Commies.
Yeah, I'm going to give the Giants a few wins in a row here to even it out a little bit more. They tend to do that. Last year they had about as terrible of a start to the season as you possibly could have had, or at least it seemed like based on just offensive stats and just vibes. And they still were in playoff contention because they somehow eked out some wins with Tommy DeVito in the midseason. So I think you might see a similar kind of thing. I think they can beat the Steelers on Monday Night Football, whether Russell Wilson obviously right now will be the starter, but whether that ends up being Wilson or Fields for that game, I just don't have a ton of faith in the Steelers offense or George Pickens or Najee Harris. And then I think
Arthur Smith.
what's that?
Wait, Arthur Smith's the
Right.
coach there, so you have to actually factor in Cordero Patterson is going to be their leading receiver.
Is Cordero
That's
Patterson
right.
on
Yeah.
the Steelers?
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh boy.
And then I think you can beat the Commanders again, and then the win over the Panthers is there. So I think you get the 3 wins in a row. People start feeling good, whether maybe Drew Lock is your quarterback at this point, and it's a Tommy DeVito thing from last year where people think he's the next big thing, and you're still kind of in playoff contention and clinging on to mediocrity. So that's sort of how I see that stretch going.
Mhm.
I like
I'll
it.
I'll
This
chime in
screams.
here because I know Daniel. Sorry to interrupt you there, Rob, but I know Daniel had his mini rant about the Vikings a minute ago, so it's my time for a mini rant against the Steelers. The Steelers, unfortunately, in my experience, do not lose games like this. Will it be pretty? No. Will you walk out of it saying the Giants should have won? Yes. Will the refs have just a ridiculous call that benefits the Steelers towards the end? Yes, I know we'll never get sponsored by the NFL now because I said that, but that's okay.
There goes our YouTube TV sponsor.
There goes our YouTube TV sponsorship. Sorry, guys. But the Steelers just don't lose Monday Night Football games at home against, sorry to say, middle tier competition, even when they themselves are middle tier competition. This is if this game was being played at 1 p.m. Eastern, I would probably pick the Giants, honestly. But Pittsburgh, Monday Night Football, it's tough to win in that environment. Especially when again things are gonna be going in their direction one way or the other, whether we like to say it's the refs or not. There you go, I just got it
screams
back.
to me a letdown game for the Steelers of playing down to an opponent. I think the Giants will win this one. Actually, for PK here.
There you go.
This screams of those. I mean, because they've lost. I disagree. Like, what I think, they're going to lose it in a ridiculous fashion. It's going to be a weird, ridiculous game. I completely agree there.
Oh, it's going to be insane. No Steelers game in the past 5 years has been normal. Ever since Antonio Brown left.
Kick game. That's what I think of. I'd say something like this. I think it's just they're going to drop this game.
I could honestly see this game finishing like 9-6.
So, yeah.
All right, Daniel, your call here.
I was originally going to lean Giants, but I think Beau convinced me. Granted, the Steelers always throw games like this, but probably not on Monday night. I'll trust Beau's judgment on AFC North teams, so I will actually take Pittsburgh in that game.
I think tie goes to the guest.
Tie goes to the guest. I can't argue with that. I cannot argue with that.
We need all the wins we can get on this schedule, guys. So
and I think we're all four probably going to pick a win over the commies.
See, one thing interesting though is you are going up against Russell Wilson in prime time, maybe, and he does that. Not win the loss record aside, that just compounds the craziness effect because like those Russell Wilson prime time games are ridiculous.
True.
Something weird's gonna happen.
All right. Let's see. Commies here. We going with the Giants.
Oh yeah.
I think it's sweep.
I'd honestly take the Commanders, but if it's 3-1, then it's whatever.
Yeah, I think that's home winnable. The Giant. I remember they either swept or got swept by the commies last year. Which one was it?
Gosh, off the top of my head, I think they won. Usually they sweep. Let me look at that.
Hold on, my producers let me know what their schedule was last year.
Yeah, the Giants beat the Commanders both times last year. That's what I
Oh,
thought.
there you go. They swept them. Well, they're gonna sweep them 2 years in a row then. Sorry, Jaden Daniels.
Speaking of
Rough start.
producers, RG3 getting fired.
He's free now.
That sucks, man. I hate seeing that. I hope give me a crew. Give me a college football crew of Gus Johnson and RG3. Please.
They're both color guys. Oh no, never mind. Gus Johnson is
No,
play-by-play. Never mind.
Thank you.
Joel Klatt's good at his job though. I can't argue. I can't lie.
I mean, those two together, it's already a good duo, but those two together, man.
Get
I'll
the
never-
three-man
I'll
booth.
never-
There's some.
I'll never forget how much RG3 was for Penix. He coined Big Penix energy. He wore a purple suit at the Heisman ceremony. Real one. I'll
There you
forgive the
go.
2011 Alamo Bowl.
I will never forgive him stealing Andrew Luck's Heisman though.
Keith Price
But
outplayed
that's a story.
in that Alamo Bowl.
He did. I mean, that game got Nick Holt fired. Thank God.
Yeah.
It's a story for another day, though. I will always defend my Stanford guys from that era. How is it that Stanford just routinely had guys finish second in the Heisman voting?
It's because the bullshit of the Heisman.
That's
it's
true.
It's an electoral college, basically. It's
Derrick
so
Henry winning it
stupid.
over McCaffrey will
It's
never make
so
sense to me.
stupid because the South always vote for their own.
Yeah.
What did I
Finish the
Gerhardt
job
finished
really
second one of those years? Toby
Gerhardt finished second, Luck finished second twice, McCaffrey finished second, and Bryce Love finished second, all within like a 10-year span.
Fuck the
And
South.
I'll say the McCaffrey one and the second Luck one, I think, were robberies. The others were fair.
McCaffrey would have had it.
Let's see. So after the bye, they're home against Tampa, who's unfortunately also on a bye. Ari picked that game. Then they get their second game against Dallas.
Cowboys on a Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, shit, man. Like I can't in good faith pick the Giants to upset the Cowboys here. Looks like you guys have the Saints beating the Giants too,
Mhm.
and then
That one was a coin
Coin
flip one,
toss,
honestly.
coin toss.
sure.
If you want to talk us out of it, I mean, we didn't feel really
Yeah.
great. We didn't feel super
Talk us out of
convicted
it.
about it.
You know, I won't talk you out of it
No,
because
do
I
it.
think
Do
this
it.
is
It's the
exactly
point. It's the fun.
No, I'm not going to talk you out of it because I think this is the exact point where the Giants hit the late season slide. Like I said, there's the slow start and then there's the false hope and then there's the late season slide. So I think that'll probably kick
Yeah.
in. My one
These last four are pretty tough too. You might not win a game after the bye week if it's not that Saints
I
one.
got an argument for both of those last two. I got an argument.
Okay, that's fair. Ravens, I think. Are we all picking the Ravens?
Uh,
I think. Yeah, we talked about this on the pod last night, but John Harbaugh in interconference games is just it's not fair.
It's ridiculous. Daniel and I got a taste of it last year. Never again.
Yeah.
Oh, more than a
luckily,
taste.
Yeah, we got a
as-
whole lot. We got a whole lot in both those games.
Yeah. As an AFC North fan, I'll never have to worry about that. We just have to
Oh,
play them
God.
twice a year. But hey, no, they got to play us twice a year.
You're not.
There you go. There's the
You're
mindset.
not. I'm not stuck with you. You're in here with me.
Exactly. Shoot, man, we almost beat them in week 2 when Burrow didn't have a calf. So there you go. And then they went on to be the best team in the AFC for the rest of the regular season. But that's the regular season. Okay, there you go. I have to always have one shot at the Ravens, at least one per pod. Okay. Falcons have them losing that one. Let's see. Yeah, I guess EK, take it away with these last two though.
Sure. Yeah. I think I'm probably not as high on Anthony Richardson as a lot of people are. So, you know, I would probably looks like that one's on a Saturday. Maybe that's Christmas or something, or maybe they just
You
That's
know
like
what? I think they got the week 17.
Yeah,
like they
there's no
just
college football.
picked a bunch of random
Right.
Sat games to be on Saturday for week
No
18 or
college football. That's
17.
fine.
That's right. Yeah, that seems like a weird kind of bullshit game that the Giants would tend to win. And then I think there's a chance the Eagles either honestly rest their starters for
That's
week
what I was gonna say.
or just don't really give a shit. So I would say the Giants win those last two games, make it look like they had a respectable record, screw themselves out of like a really good draft pick, and then charge into 2025 with the same kind of deal. So
I've got a proposal for that Week 18 game. Let's see how it shakes out with the other NFC East teams, and then come back and pick it up.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
I don't disagree with the Colts one though. I think the Colts are kind of a weird team where
Well,
hey, they
AR's going to be
barely
banged up.
missed the playoffs last year. They are gonna have AR in there instead of Gardner Minshew. Does that end up being an upgrade? We're gonna find out. I know
Well, the
Rob
thing
would probably
is,
say he is, but
Week 17, he's going to be banged up. You might not have any time.
My
What's
hot
that?
take about the Colts is that they're going to be the hardest team to predict in this entire thing.
Mhm.
They could either be really, really good or they could completely flop. Or
Or
they
they could be somewhere in the middle. I could also see him somewhere in the middle like last year too.
like they're like a lot of these other teams, I have some level of confidence of where they might be, but the Colts, I really have no idea. But to be honest, man, I'm kind of with EK. I feel like the Giants are kind of like the Vikings in the sense that no matter how bad their team is on paper, they always find a way to finesse the season somehow. I can't envision the Giants ever going like 3-14. So I feel like I'm kind of with EK. 7-10 is a pretty realistic finishing for them.
I like them
All right.
winning out here. Yeah.
I agree. I'm gonna give it to them against the Colts, and then we'll come back to Week 18. See how the Cowboys and the Eagles are competing with each other, and see who needs to win. I'm not gonna leave the Commanders in that argument because we all know they probably won't be there. But there you go. Going into Week 18, 6-10 record, chance at 7-10. I'd say that's pretty, reasonable season for the Giants.
Tough schedule.
it is when you go through it game by game, it really is a tough schedule. But also when you're a bad team, schedules seem tougher than they are. So
Right. Exactly. That's one thing you learn
Also.
quickly. There you go. All right. Do we move forward? Do we just get the commies out of the way now? I'll let EK make the call as the guest.
all right. Well, I was thinking I might hop off and give you guys
Okay.
just the three person so you can have a majority with 2-1.
No.
No, EK. I mean, EK, you're welcome to stay
You
along.
gotta go.
You're the NFC East guest.
Well, I appreciate that guy. I don't know if I have the knowledge that you guys do with these other teams. So,
we don't know shit.
We don't know. Yeah, you should have seen us talking about the Saints yesterday. It was rough.
all right. Well, sure. We can we can go to the Commanders.
There we go. That's what we like to hear. We'll pop up their roster real fast just to talk about changes. Obviously, the big change at the quarterback position. Rookie Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels.
Ooh.
I know Rob had to say something about
I'm
it.
still bitter about that.
Brought in Austin Eckler to be their running back, spell back to Brian Robinson. I like the Brian Robinson fantasy football video still Rob's pinned tweet on Twitter. So every time we do a Rob Twitter check, I have to see that one.
And a kid got shot.
Terry McLaurin, De'Ami Brown's starting receiver in 2024. That's rough. Jahan Dotson, I know that grade doesn't look great. I've actually been really impressed with what he's been able to
Wait,
do.
how
So I
is
was
Jahan
not
Dotson ranked lower than De'Ami Brown?
I have no idea. That's
That's
surprising to
good.
me too. They got a rookie left
You gotta
tackle and
take- you
Brandon
gotta take
Coleman
the
out of
PFF
TCU.
with a grain of salt.
Zach Ertz is still around.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I tell you what, this is a hell of a. They have some players 5 years ago who would have Austin Eckler, and Zach Ertz.
Right,
Oh yeah, dude.
man. Second year, first round pick, Emmanuel Forbes not even starting on defense right now. They got, I think this is Mike Davis. Yeah, Mike Davis, and then Benjamin St-Juste. And then we got rookie Mike Sanders still in the slot. Emmanuel Forbes, 16th overall pick, not even starting. That's rough.
Sanders, you could make the argument Sanders still might be their second best defender.
I got Frankie
They do
Louvu.
have Frankie Louvu.
lot of offense or defensive additions here. I mean, Jonathan Allen, Jerome Payne. Man, those grades are rough for those guys, considering how well they're regarded. Dorrance Armstrong brought over from Dallas following Dan Quinn.
You paid
Cleveland
for this
Furl.
garbage PFF.
What's that?
We pay for this garbage PFF.
We pay for it so we get the mock draft simulator, my friend.
That is very true.
Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner. Man, Bobby Wagner rated really high.
I have absolutely no clue how he is rated that high. And I love Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
Last year was rough, man.
Yeah.
It was not good.
And then Jeremy Chin. Man, I remember when Jeremy
He
Chin
fell
was a
off
baller in Carolina. He's
hard.
fallen off hard. Injuries are a big part of that. And then they got Quan Martin, Rovin. All right, there you go. There's the commies. Not a ton to be excited about, if I'm being 100% honest. Jaden Daniels, I guess, maybe.
You're really hoping for him to just carry a bad
He's
team
got to
like
carry this.
CJ
He's got
Stroud.
some solid receivers in McLaurin and Dotson, but it's rough outside
Other
of
than
that. Also,
Jonathan Allen and Frankie Louvu, I don't know if Frankie Louvu fits that defense though. Frankie Louvu's good in a multiple scheme, not a 4-3.
so. All right, hopping into their schedule now. So we've already got 6 games picked. So this is one of the products we learned last year. By the time we get to the last division, like 80% of the games are already picked. So we're just kind of playing catch up at that point. So as we go more into this, I mean, shoot, even by the time we get to whatever team we talk about last, we're gonna have 8 games picked at least. So that'll be fun. But we got them starting 0-2 with losses to the Bucks and Giants. I mean, I guess I'll start with this one. This is the Ring of Honor game for the Bengals. They have never lost this game ever since they instituted it. Is that? Yeah, that sounds right. Since they brought it in a few years ago. That was this. They're not doing the whiteout for this one. Fortunately, they did it last year against the Rams. It was sick. They might be going the orange out though, is what I'm hearing. Which with the new orange pants. Point being, Bengals aren't gonna lose this game. Unless we get 3 disagreements, I guess.
Nah, man. I think
I won't protest that one.
since he's gonna walk that team, dude.
In that case, okay, so we get into a winnable now, and I'll say, and I mentioned this on the pod last night. I think Arizona is probably about a 7-win ball club. I know a lot of people look at that roster and don't see a lot of talent, but honestly, there's something to work with there. But
they played hard last year, man.
They played hard, and I think they're better now than they were. Losing Rondale Moore hurts, but I mean, having Marvin on one side and Michael Wilson on the other is a pretty intriguing receiver combo. And Kyler's gonna be healthy the whole year now too. So, in the desert,
are we sure about that? that's
gonna say fingers crossed.
That's true.
Right, the $100 million question.
He's gonna be healthy to start the year. I should say that.
There we go. That's gonna be this is gonna be a close one, I think.
Yeah. Do they fall to 0-4? I'm gonna pick the Cards in this one. At home, cross country trip.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Cards.
I'm going to say the Cardinals too. And to be frank with all you guys, I think the Commanders are going to be absolutely terrible this year. And I have a feeling Jaden Daniels gets injured at some point during the year to just kind of add some more misery there.
Oh man, if we project that, and we actually did project that with the Falcons, so we project that, you got to think every game after that's Marcus Mariota starting. So
well, I mean, if it really depends if he's learned how to protect himself, because last year he did not know how to do that. He jumped right into.
He's just jumping head first into piles.
Not even head first. That would have been better. Just jumped straight up.
That's a great clip.
Yeah, I'll dissent from you guys here, which is it's fine. It's still 3-1, but I think the first few games will start out sluggish for Washington, and I think this will kind of be the game that gets everyone excited about Jaden Daniels. This is the opportunity, I think, against the Cardinals. I'm not probably as high as them as Beau is, so I would probably pick Washington, but I'll dissent there.
I'm excited for this game. This is gonna be a good one.
This is one where the Cardinals open the roof up just to scorch them a little bit.
Ooh.
I'm also biased. Not that I'm a Cardinals fan or anything.
Well, you're going from the wet heat to the dry heat,
Yeah.
Brownie's coming down.
Brownie's got a stretch of AFC North teams here. hosting Cleveland.
I think the Browns game is going to be terrible to watch. But I
So
think
yeah, there's not going to be a single competent offensive snap in that game between the
Nope.
two teams. I'll tell you that much. And a big part of that is because the Browns have an amazing defense and a horrible offense.
Yeah, yeah.
And it really, at that point, doesn't matter how Washington is because the Browns have, they're going to do their thing either way.
This could be the game that he gets hurt. That Jade Daniels gets hurt. I don't know if this smells great.
Where are we leaning, boys?
Give the Commies the upset win.
Got to pick them to win at some point. So that I don't think they're going 0-17.
All right, Daniel.
We did pick them to win at one point already. I think we have one win for them.
Over the Saints. There you go. Off the bye.
I was still going to take Cleveland, but it's all good.
Lean towards the guest here. Even if I'd pick the Browns, we're gonna give the guest the lean anyway, so that's all right.
DMV versus DMV. Wait, no.
Yeah, here you go.
Is
The
it
the DMV.
Yep. I was thinking, because isn't Dallas also the DMV too?
No, they're DFW.
DFW. Yeah.
Yeah. Going to Baltimore, right up the road.
I can't see it, man. I can't see it.
Yeah, this one could get ugly.
This
one.
These two games are the games that Jade Daniels is gonna get hurt in.
Any dissenters? Anyone who feels strongly Jane Daniels gonna walk into Baltimore and get the win?
Nah,
If
man.
he's even healthy at this
He's not
point,
gonna
we'll say
walk
Dan
out,
Quinn.
that's for sure.
It's going to be Mariota getting blasted.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a lot of storylines there.
Oh, here we go. First and second overall picks going head to head.
Off the bye.
I'd probably lean Chicago here.
I am too.
Unfortunately, me too.
See
Take the
EK
Bears.
nodding. There you go. There's a
Caleb been
consensus.
home masterclass.
There you go. Roma Dunze against this guy named Mike Davis. Not even Emmanuel Forbes. Come on, man. Draft a guy 16th overall and he's not even starting here too. What's up with that? Okay, here we go. This is the type of game that the Steelers lose. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly.
This is the type of game I could see the Steelers losing. Coming off a bye too. I don't know if Mike Tomlin teams are better or worse off the bye. I know it's one of the two, but actually, it's probably an important thing to Google.
I see Pittsburgh against a bottom feeding NFC team, and I see Pittsburgh loss.
Especially on the road too.
Yeah. I gotta take the Commanders in that game.
Mike Tomlin has been great following a bye week, actually, though. Actually, never mind. Never mind. This article says Mike Tomlin's been great following a bye week despite the narrative. What's the narrative? Hold on. Okay, I gotta keep reading. Okay, they're 11-4. They outscore their opponents by a touchdown. Outscore their opponents by a touchdown average, but that tweet is from 2021, 2022. Let's see, 2022 Steelers. You guys can keep talking about the next game. I'm just, or even talking about the Steelers game. I'm formulating a narrative here.
Yeah,
they beat the Saints in 22.
Wait, no, they were away. Maybe they were black
Regular season. Okay. Yeah, they're 13-4 off the bye week in the last 17 years.
Make it 13.
So that takes away my narrative. I'm still picking the Commies though. All right. Let's see. EK. Rob, did you guys make a pick on this one yet?
No.
I'll rock with Washington there.
There you go. It's 3-0. Rob, we saved you from having to say words there. You're welcome.
I appreciate it. You can only say to so many.
Going to Philly now. Thursday night football on the road, division game. That's never fun.
No, that's tough. At Lincoln, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty easy Philly win for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So Nikkei nodding. There you go, Rob. You don't have to say anything again. Man, your
I
voice
said
is probably
something. I
thanking
said
you.
something.
Oh, what you said? I didn't even
Well,
hear you.
I said tough game at the link, you know.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Sorry.
Actually, try to
Um,
kick me out here. No.
I'm trying to phase him out of the pod. EK, you're the new co-host.
Shit.
You're fired, hotshot.
Damn it.
There it is. We had to tie it in somehow. Okay. Dallas. Going on the road to
Mini
Washington.
bye.
Washington gets a little mini bye. I will say, Washington does seem to always give Dallas a hard time.
They do. They do.
Are you sure about that?
Um,
Every time I
man, I
watch
feel.
them, I just remember Washington getting blown out every single game.
I
I
remember that Thanksgiving
remember.
game where Mike McCarthy ran the worst fake punt other than the Colts one.
That's true. Yeah, they did play on Thanksgiving last year, and it was not pretty. I will say that. I don't know, boys. How are we feeling about
I
this
think they're
one?
gonna split with. I think they're gonna split with the Cowboys, anyways. So I'll take them on the mini bye.
So you're taking Dallas here or in week 18?
I'm taking the commies off the mini
Taking
bye.
commies here. All right, Daniel.
Taking the Cowboys.
Taking Cowboys. All right, EK.
I just looked into it, and the Cowboys beat the Commanders by an average of 31.5 points last
Okay.
year. So
Yeah.
I'll take
Oh,
that.
was it really that bad?
But
Oh, you know what?
wait,
I'm thinking about
wait,
2022, the Sam Howell like
wait here,
surprise
guys. Wait here,
game.
guys. Dan Quinn revenge game.
What's that?
Dan Quinn revenge game.
I ain't buying it, man.
Yeah, now that I hear the 31.5, that's pretty rough. I was thinking 2022.
I think they're gonna get
I'm
him
fired,
once this year.
hotshot.
I think they're gonna get him once this year. I like the commies here. I do not like the Titans this year.
Yeah, home game. I don't think any of us are super high on Tennessee this year, despite Rob's Will Levis crush.
I love the Mayo man. I can't believe that perfume sold out already. I should have gotten some.
I don't know. How are you feeling about this one, EK?
I'm not high on the Titans, nor am I high on Will Levis, so I'll take Washington here.
I'm gonna agree with that one, Daniel.
Sure, I don't care. I don't have any thoughts.
This is a game that we will not remember
No.
in week 15. After we talk about it on the pod, we're never gonna remember this game was played. I'll tell you that much. That's my prediction for the game. Yeah, I'll take the home team there. Already have them beating the Saints. Do they beat the Eagles at home?
I don't think so, especially this late in the season. This is going to be a tight NFC East race between the Cowboys and Eagles. I think this is going to be. They're going to bring it to them.
Agreed.
I think we might
And
need to
then we'll
leave
leave the
this
week
one.
18 games.
Yeah.
We'll leave the week 18 game until. So we got the Cowboys and Eagles with
Ooh.
identical 6-1 records at the moment. That's fun. Who do we want to start with? Eagles or Cowboys? Let you choose, EK.
Gosh, it's like who do I fucking hate more? We'll go to the Cowboys.
We go Dallas. America's
Jerry's
team.
really losing it, man. Just really losing it.
America's team is actually the Detroit Lions.
I'll be so bummed when Stephen Jones, who's so much more boring than Jerry, takes over.
They can't
least-
show
There you
Jerry
go.
during the broadcast 45 times anymore.
How late into the season does CD report?
At least Jerry has a personality. At least Jerry's got.
That's true.
He's a good villain. He's a good villain.
Yeah, Steven Jones is just Jerry Jones' son.
He's boring. It's every son of like a rich dude or like political figure. They suck. They all suck. Like,
You're not rocking with Jeb Bush.
well, he's kind of brother though, you know.
Anyway.
When I think of him, I don't think of him as HW's son. I think of him
Please
as
clap, Rob.
W's brother.
That's fair.
Guacamole. Well, then you got like Jeffrey Falwell Jr. You know, Total Hero, Hunter Biden, the Trump sons. They all suck. That's kind of Stephen Jones too. They all suck.
There you go. Talking about the on-field product for Dallas now. Offensive line, they're starting Brock Hoffman at center. That's not great. Remember when Travis Frederick was like the best center in the league for a while, and then he just retired, like the height of his power? That was tough. Haven't really recovered from that. Tyler Guyton, not one of my guys, starting at left tackle as a rookie. Terrence Steele, not looking great at right tackle. Good interior offense line though. Look at the guard. That guard tandem is pretty good.
No more quality
Zeke,
back shots.
they got Rico Dowdle over Zeke as a starting running back. What is this?
No way.
This is ridiculous.
Oh
yeah, you got a 12 personnel, and all of a sudden it is Zeke. So
maybe that's like third down back stuff. Is what they're doing.
Yeah, maybe we should go with 12 personnel as the primary for some teams. But on defense, actually,
there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of talent out there.
Yep. Jordan Lewis did. I mean, that corner tandem is insane.
I did not expect Mozzie Smith to be that bad.
Yeah, he's not even starting. That's rough.
I thought he was going to be good.
They get him in there on base. Yeah, they get him in there on base at least. Ugh, that's rough.
47.2. That might be the lowest we've seen all night.
Yeah, it's not. It's down there. Eric Kendricks and Damone Clark as a starting backers. They're one free agency addition that was worth writing home about, other than Zeke.
All in my ass.
Almost said Hendon Hooker.
All in my
Malik
ass.
Hooker. All in my ass. And then Donovan Wilson. So they lost some stuff. They did not add a lot in
they lost like
free agency or the draft
staff too. They lost their DC, DB coach, and D-line coach.
I know we were not complimentary of their offseason on this pod.
Oi, bruv.
But
my name's Auden Dirty.
They do still have Dak and CD out there, and that's hard to beat.
They still got a lot of talent on the defense.
And they got a lot of target talent on this defense.
You're a Mike Zimmerhead.
I'm a Mike Zimmerhead. That was very true.
CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson are absolute dogs, guys.
Yeah, I forgot about Jake Ferguson. We didn't even talk about him. Yeah, he was awesome last year.
I feel very vindicated for my Jake Ferguson head.
So there you go. That's the team. Now the schedule here. Week 1, they go to Cleveland. This is I need to highlight this. This is Tony Romo's first game as a broadcaster. Or not Tony Romo, sorry, Tom Brady's first game as a broadcaster.
That's right. The Cowboys.
It was Fox. Of course it was gonna be the Cowboys. They always put their A team on the Cowboys, especially in week 1. I think it's the Cowboys win.
I think so too.
Yeah, me too.
There you go. Already haven't beaten the Saints home against the Ravens.
Fun. That's gonna be. How's that not prime time? That's gonna be a fun one.
I think Dallas is gonna get blown out against the Ravens.
Yeah, true. Out of conference.
Yeah, but the out of conference rule isn't quite as strict for away games for Baltimore.
I don't know. When Baltimore came to Seattle in 2018, they whooped us.
Yeah, but also remember, sorry to bring this up, Daniel, but remember 2021 in Detroit needed a record-breaking field goal to beat one of the worst teams in football.
We never played the Ravens that year.
That game didn't happen. I'm just picturing that.
This is a really hard schedule. Jeez.
You imagine.
I'm imagining it. Sorry. Okay.
This is
I'm leaning Dallas
schedule.
in this one. I know I'm going to come across as biased, but I'm leaning Dallas.
Baltimore for me.
I can't go against the record. Out of conference record.
All right, EK.
You know, I think I'm going to agree with Beau here. I think I'm going to go Cowboys, and my bias works in the opposite direction. But I think Dak Prescott is really a better quarterback than people give him credit for. Obviously, the postseason is a different story, but in the regular season, last season, Dak Prescott was fantastic. I could totally see this being a big primetime win for the Cowboys, and everyone gets excited about them, and it's just a complete aneurysm for everyone else in the country.
They're going to start 4-0.
Gosh, they can start 5-0, man. They got the Steelers next up. And they got the mini bye to go with it.
What is that primetime?
Yeah, this is Sunday Night Football.
I'll be right back. My pick is Pittsburgh for that game.
I'm gonna go
You're picking
Steelers
Pittsburgh?
as well.
All right, EK.
I could see the Steelers there, actually. I could see the letdown game for the Cowboys going on the road. And so
On primetime, being 4-0. Ugh, that's
There you
a
go.
Cowboys letdown. Let's skip the Lions until
Oh, we'll come back to that one. Oh, we got the annual Dallas goes to San Francisco and loses by 30 game here.
Yeah, I just can't. Now that Zeke's back on the team, I can't stop thinking about him snapping the ball.
This one's easy San Francisco pick for me. EK?
Yeah, the 49ers have their number for whatever reason. So at home, go San Francisco.
We skipped over the Detroit game, Daniel, but you want to touch on Dallas at San Francisco real fast? We all picked San Francisco.
Give me the Niners in that game as well.
All right, go ahead and lead us
All right,
off with
floor
Detroit,
yours.
Dallas.
Dude. I can't wait to get fucked over again in here. Well, get Dallas to win, man. I don't want to see that. I got nothing else to say, man.
Man, that team's gonna be off a bye. They're gonna be bitter from last year. I don't know, man.
It's gonna be a close game, like it always is in Jerry World, and then refs will intervene, and then we go through the charade again.
I'm gonna
if
say
it was
this.
at Ford Field, Detroit whoops them.
Lions smoke
But
the
if it's
Cowboys on the
Detroit,
road.
it's not happening. I'm sorry. I love my team, but it's not.
I'm leaning Dallas too, unfortunately.
They're
But
gonna
EK
be
gets the call.
thinking all about the season before, the entire bye week. I don't know, man.
I kind of agree with Beau and Daniel. I think the Lions are just as good of a team, if not maybe better. But it just feels like the Cowboys aren't going to lose to the Lions at home, and also I don't think they'll lose 3 in a row. So we'll go Dallas there.
That's fair.
First game of the season against Philly coming up here in Week 10. It's at home, not prime time. So there you go. Let's see. EK, you want to lead this one off?
Sure. Yeah, I actually think that I would predict them to split the series here.
I agree.
I actually would go with the Eagles winning the road game here, just for the fact that last year in the second half was where the Eagles really had their implosion. And, not to say the exact same thing is going to happen this year, but down the stretch of the regular season, I would say that the Cowboys actually might win in Philadelphia and vice versa.
I'll take it.
I agree. I think they split as well. Choose to split however way you want it. Daniel?
I think they split as well. I would have taken each team getting the home win, but it's pretty inconsequential.
Monday Night Football.
Give me
Houston,
the
Dallas.
Texans.
Little
Give me the
Texas
Texans.
matchup.
CJ's coming to Jerry snacks and souls.
All right. EK?
Yeah, I'm good with the Texans here. I think CJ Stroud's going to have a top 3 quarterback season.
Daniel?
I'm gonna take Dallas. And you know what's funny? I think Houston gets fucked in this game too.
Yeah.
I think
can
there's
see
gonna be
it.
some bullshit going against the Texans here. Give me Dallas winning that game, man.
This one's tough. I'm gonna go with Houston as well. But that gives us a tie, and then wait, never mind. No, we don't. No, EK did Houston, so never mind. Yeah. There you go. EK made the call there.
I feel bad with being the tiebreaker. I'm gonna fuck all these picks up, I think, but
nah, it's all good. It's all good.
No, we fuck these picks up ourselves a lot.
Trust me. If you looked at last year's, it was rough. But one of these days, I'm gonna go back and make a spreadsheet of how wrong we were. Speaking of how wrong we were, we picked the Bengals to win the Super Bowl last year, which would have happened if Burrow didn't get hurt. But just rest my case on that one. Bengals at Cowboys. Monday Night Football. You see, the uniform schedule hasn't come out. If the Bengals go white out for this game, they're going to win. But I don't think they will because it's in Dallas. And Dallas is
it's
gonna
against the
win
Cowboys.
whites. So,
That's a lot of
Dallas
rest
coming
for
off
the
a mini
Cowboys.
bye. Yeah, give me. Yeah, they get not only that. Yeah, give me the Cowboys in this one. It hurts to say, but yeah,
Over Cincy?
yeah.
Yeah, give me Dallas.
We did say split, so Cowboys gets the
Oh, yeah, Cowboys here. And then, all right, and then we'll finish up with Philly real fast. I guess we didn't let EK talk on any of those last few games. I guess the only one really to talk about was the Cincy game.
Yeah, no worries. I would have gone the same way with it. Unfortunately to Beau, I love Burrow, but I think the Bengals issues go a little bit
They're gonna
deeper
get
than
fucked.
whether he's injured or not. So I would go Dallas at home.
They're gonna get fucked.
They're gonna get fucked by the refs. I mean,
Oh, get fucked by the refs. Okay, I was like, dang, man. I think this game can be close. Sheesh. Okay. Last team in the division, Philly, who again we've already picked 9 games for, so should be pretty fast actually. Here we go. Philly. Made a lot of offseason additions. They did not rest on their laurels the same way Dallas did. Brought in Saquon, obviously, to be the lead back there. Offensive line was already really strong. They got Mekhi Becton listed as a starting right guard. That's interesting right now. Jason Kelsey obviously retired. Cam Jurgens
they had
slotted
2 replacements for him
center.
already.
Yeah. Devontae, AJ Brown, Paris Campbell. I forgot Paris Campbell's there now.
Bryce Huff.
Yeah, they brought in Bryce Huff, and we already talked about this Son Reddick thing the other day, but that's funny. They traded him, and then he's not even gonna play for the Jets, probably, maybe. We'll see how
It'd be funny
that
if the Jets trade him, and the next team doesn't even pay him.
Also doesn't extend him. Oh gosh, Son Reddick's gotta get paid. Imagine he
Reddick
just
is
passed around the league until he's back on Philly, and they
Reddick
pay him.
really is a stat guy rather than a team guy. I really think he is. I think his sack numbers are overinflated to the kind of player he actually is.
And then we got Reed Blankenship. Let's go. 18th best safety in the league, Reed Blankenship. Let's go.
Is DeJean gonna be out for a while though?
Yeah, I think so. I'd say he'd be out for a bit. CJ, the other starting safety. 2 new backers here in Devin White and Zach Bond. They got Zach Bond graded as an edge, but they got him listed as linebacker. That's interesting.
Zach Bond's never been an edge. What is this?
Old base. Yeah, no, that's those are starting backers. There you go. Huff and Graham on the edges.
Trade for Nakobe Dean. Hurry up. Just do it.
Honestly, their base might be there. Yeah, this base is really more what they'll be running more, honestly, here. Huff, Sweat,
they run
on the edges,
they run the
Carter,
anyways.
Milton Williams,
They run Okie.
Jordan Davis.
Neither of these are really the right way to call it. But
Q Mitchell, they got Q Mitchell lined up in the slot, but they got Isaiah Rodgers out wide.
Q Mitchell's playing wide. We all know this. He's gonna be so good in that Fangio defense, man. He's the perfect corner for it.
There you go. So Philly definitely made additions needed to, in my opinion, get back in contention because they looked rough at the end of last season.
They had no business losing that Monday night game to the Seahawks. Yeah. Absolutely. They blew that one horrendously bad.
They were just a straight up bad football team towards the end of the season. They were horrible.
They lost to Drew Lock.
Yep, they did. It's Drew Lock. They lost to BCL, man.
Geno Smith doing the Drew Lock celebration on the sideline. That was pretty funny.
All right. Getting into it though. Let's see.
That's
Green Bay. Oh, this one's in Brazil, so Green Bay does not go to.
Oh, they're not allowed
Philly.
To wear green,
and they're not allowed. Neither team's allowed to wear green. So we'll see how that goes.
NFL guys, send the 2 green teams to a stadium where you can't wear green.
Yeah, there's really 2 teams in the whole league that wear green, and they chose 2 of them to send to Brazil.
They really just want to fuck with the Brazilians, don't they?
This one's tough because I think you got the Noble franchise, the Green Bay Packers, going up against a team that I think a lot of people could see representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, and the Eagles. I'm gonna lean Philly in this one.
This is a tough one, but I do think just the overall team, the Eagles are better. When I think of the defense, the Eagles are got a lot of stars on there. I think the Packers are coached, but the Eagles are the better team.
EK?
I'll take the Packers in week 1. I think Jordan Love is going to have a huge season. And I mean, the Eagles obviously did address the biggest need of last season, which is that the passing defense specifically was just abysmal. They made a couple draft picks. Darius Slay is also like 33 years old now. And to be fair, like the draft picks are solid, but we don't know how good Quinyon Mitchell is going to be in the league yet. So that would be my one reservation with the Eagles.
He's going to be really good. Sorry, EK. But we're big Q heads here.
You could very well be right. But this was one of the worst defenses. It was one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year, and until that tangibly changes, I'm not going to buy stock in it just yet. So I'll take the Packers week 1.
Trust in Q, baby.
Trust in Q.
All
right, Daniel. You're the tiebreaker then.
You already know what I'm going to say, man.
I know. We're picking the. Go ahead. Actually, I don't know what you're going to say because you could pick with like a bias in either direction.
No, I pick the Eagles. I think the Eagles are the better team. And unlike Rob's opinion, I think the Packers have the most overrated coach in football. They are not that well coached.
He is an F-tier coach after all.
Yes.
I'm still pissed at you guys for that.
He's the worst in football, bro.
That was so funny. I couldn't even say it with a straight face.
See, now that you're here, EK, I don't have my defense over these two that I always have. It's always I got one thing to tell you. But you got much more than I do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, they get a very early bye week 5 bye, so tough draw. Rough. Then they host Cleveland. What are we thinking here, boys?
I think they're gonna beat the Brownies off the bye.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, off the bye, and now that I know that Quinyon Mitchell is a stud, pick them.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a tough stretch though coming up. That's a tough stretch.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna come across. Actually, okay, this may come across as biased. I don't care. Bengals are wearing their wideouts in this game, and they don't lose in the wideout, so I'm picking Cincy.
I trust you there. I trust you on uniform logic. Trust you.
I know that's the dumbest reason ever to pick a team, but I don't care. They don't lose in the wideouts.
When Action Green was undefeated, I was like, every time we're in Action Green, we're invincible.
I also just think the Bengals have a good shot beating Philly.
It's at home.
It's a home game, The great Tom Brady will be calling this game, so there you go. And then they go back up to Philly and they host the Jaguars.
I like the Jags. Doug Peterson revenge game.
Doug Peterson. Oh, we got two Jags picks. What are you thinking, EK?
I would love to pick the Jags here. I'm not going to though. I'll take the Eagles.
I'm also gonna pick the Eagles. So there you go. So let's see. They are
out to LA.
At this point in the season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8-2. Going into a little mini bye here. Tough stretch to end the season here, though, especially these next 2 games. Cross country, going to LA. I know Rob literally said last night he's not very high on the Rams. I'm picking the Rams in this one.
This is a coin flip for me. So I'll defer to others first.
Yeah, I'm not high on the Rams, and I think that I'll go with the Eagles, especially with the pressure that's on Nick Sirianni to not. I know I said on the Cowboys preview that the Eagles would lose that Cowboys game, but I don't think they'll have the same sort of second half implosion now that Sirianni's kind of literally coaching for his job with this team. So I'll take the Eagles.
And he got competent coordinators now in Kellen Moore and Fangio. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot his name. What are you thinking here, Daniel?
Well, I think both Philly and Dallas are going to be 11-5 going into Week 18. I believe what's Philly's record right now? It's like 8.
Philly at this point in the season, they're 8-2.
8-2. Okay. They get to 5. Okay.
So for them to get to 11-5, you'd need 2 wins and 1 loss.
Okay. I think they beat. Skipping ahead, I think they beat Pittsburgh.
Okay. I would agree with them being Pittsburgh. We guys all right with that?
Yeah.
I think Baltimore beats Philly.
I think the Eagles are going to beat the Rams. I think they're
The
going to
Ravens or Rams?
Rams.
Rams.
I think they're going to
Okay.
have trouble against that O-line in the running game with Saquon.
Okay.
Losing Aaron Donald is just such a... People don't understand how big of a blow that is to that defense.
And then do we have Ravens beating the Eagles?
Yeah, I have them beating the Eagles.
Did I do the math on this right? 12-3. Wait, no, hold on. We have to give Philly one more loss. Never mind.
I mean,
According to
I
Daniel's
think, I think
math.
Philly's just better than the Cowboys this year. And I think they're going to
I
take the
agree.
division. I think they're
But hey, you know what? That one more loss might be the Giants
Yeah.
pulling a
they're
crazy
resting
thing to
starters.
keep the Eagles out.
No,
Wait,
I think it matters.
Let's play with that though. So if we go to week 18 here, week 18, if the Giants win and the
Oh shit! It matters.
it does matter. I think they both win, so I think Philly gets in.
Sorry, UK.
No, that's fine with me. You know, it'd be nice for the Giants to get that nice little win at the end, but it's okay.
Are we both? We're all picking Dallas, Philly here.
These are must wins
If they're
against
both
Tampa.
going into the meeting, then
Yeah, if they both have to win, then yes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There it is. So the NFC East. We are now halfway done with the NFC.
And
so
not a repeat winner again.
There you go. We figured it out. So we got the 13-4 Eagles, 12-5 Cowboys, 6-11 Giants, 4-13 Commies.
Honestly, give them the Saints win. Give them the Saints win.
Give them the Saints win. Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll throw you a bone. We're throwing you a bone.
Thanks,
Look
guys.
at that.
You guys are so nice.
I like this.
7%
That
Giants
shapes
now.
out nicely. That shapes out nicely.
Actually, wait. One real fast. I want to see how it affects draft order real quick. So, what is that week? Week 14. So we go up here to 14. Because it'll tell me the draft order, I think. Yeah, here we go. So, with the win over the Saints, Giants are picking 13th. And obviously, not every team has had their games picked yet. Loss. They're picking, also 13th. Never mind. Doesn't matter. We have to pick all the games first before we let you know. But we're flipping that to the Giants.
So basically, we'll get like Colston Loveland instead of Carson back.
Yeah, that's tough. That's okay. That's okay.
looks like gave the Giants an extra win over the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, you did. They were at 7-10.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yep, you're right. Sorry. You're right. 7 and yeah, there we go. Okay. And my computer's starting to lag. Good timing on that.
I
At
mean,
least we
this
got to the
website's
end.
tough. This website's always been rough.
Yeah, look at all these ads, man. It's tough.
I saw an ad that made me laugh a lot. It was "Come to Chumbo Casino." I wanted to bring it up, but I couldn't find a good time, and then it disappeared.
That's okay. That's okay. Chumbo Casino, sponsor us, please.
Hey, that's probably an Arizona casino.
It probably is. All right, boys. Well, that's it for the NFC East. I'll let EK get the closing argument here. Daniel, want to lead us off?
Episode as always, boys. Fuck the Cowboys. EK, glad to have you with us tonight.
He will be back. What do they do at the end of our Marvel movies? EK will return. We have to have him back. We have to have him back for some in-season pods.
Hopefully, yeah. Thank you guys for having me on. It's always good being able to vent about the Giants a little bit, so I appreciate that. I think, honestly, I picked the Cowboys to win the NFC East, but I could totally see it shaking out like this. It's going to be the Cowboys or Eagles within.
No repeat winners. It's got to keep happening.
That's true.
Yeah,
yeah,
no
that's
repeat
true.
winners.
So, yeah, definitely appreciate you guys having me on. It's always a pleasure. So, thank you.
Absolutely. Pleasure is all ours, my friend. All ours. Closing thoughts, Rob.
If one of us gets screwed over by refs at Jerry World, all of us get screwed over by the refs at Jerry World. If one of us get play, all of us get play. If one of us is fried, all of us is